I'm Eric Wielander, and today, let's take a look at Apple's HomePod. Let's get to unboxing. Okay, it's nice they put that easy rip tape on the top of these boxes from Apple. And then you got this. Let's take off this infamous Apple plastic wrap that I've seen so many times before. Okay, get rid of that. And now for the big reveal, the trademark of Apple's packaging. And it's a HomePod. Okay, pull it out of here. We got this nice cloth cable attached to the back of it here. That's really nice. So it looks about the size that I expected it to be. I mean, I guess at this point, you've probably seen some of the early review takes and stuff. I'm not shocked by the size. I've never seen one in person until now, so this is the first time I'm seeing it, but it's, yeah, pretty much what I expected from a size perspective. And then there's like a little bit of plastic wrap on the top. I'm gonna pull that off. Okay, so I just plugged it in. So we'll see. Wow. Password time. Okay, it's still loading. There we go.
Hi, I'm Siri. Welcome to HomePod. You can't tell, but I'm waving. To get my attention, say, "Hey Siri, let's try it." Say, "Hey Siri, what can you do?"
Hey, what can you do?
I can do lots of things, like turn on the lights, give you a news update, and tell you about the weather. Now you try. Say, "Hey Siri, play some music."
Play some music.
Okay, here's a personal radio station built just for you, starting with Guns N' Roses. Remember, anytime you have a question, just say, "Hey Siri."
So it wouldn't be much of a speaker review if we didn't talk about the sound. I think for the size and the price range, the HomePod is the best sounding speaker that I've heard. As a musician, I just wanted to sit and listen to the HomePod all day as opposed to doing other work or shooting this review. The soft details in music, it makes classical music sound exceptionally good. It works great on all genres of music, but classical music is very nice. The bass in general, especially bass heavy music, is really good as well. It's not overwhelming of the rest of the sound, but you get that really nice bumping bass. And a lot of these audio quality details is because of Apple's auto calibration. So speaker calibration means that, the speaker is going to sound a little different in different rooms, and depending on where even you put it within the room, sound bounces off different materials and in different ways. So the HomePod uses its microphones to listen to the sound that it's putting out and hear how that bounces off the walls and everywhere in the room, and then adjusts how it's outputting the sound so that it can sound the best in that space. And I think that's a big reason why it's one of the best sounding speakers, or the best sounding speaker in its size. For such a small speaker, the sound is amazing. So the experience of listening to music is pretty easy. You just ask for Siri to play something, and she's pretty good, he or she. Sorry, it's a female voice on mine, but I know it varies. Siri is pretty good about finding the songs that you want. I have mixed results with certain obscure albums or bands, but overall it's pretty easy. And for those, I tend to just make a playlist that then I can just ask Siri to play the playlist by name, and it works great. You can also ask Siri to play podcasts. Play the Exponent podcast.
Here's the podcast exponent.
So what are those incentive problems?
And it's pretty good about finding the right podcast. Again, sometimes you have to figure out what's the right way to call this podcast in order to get it to come up. But if you have been listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, the app on like your phone or your iPad or your Mac, and the HomePod's on that same iTunes account. So if you're in the middle of a podcast and then you ask HomePod to play it later, it'll start right where you left off. There's a variety of controls for music and volume on the top of the HomePod. So if you don't want to talk to it for whatever reason, you can just tap it once if it's playing something and it'll just stop, which is a really nice, simple, usable, as someone who's not very technical could easily figure that out. And then you can also tap the plus and minus buttons on the top. They sort of light up when, they show two plus and minus buttons when you're playing music, and you can tap those to adjust the volume. And there's a variety of other more complex controls to go to next track or previous track, and those are very similar to the controls that you can do on the headphones that come with an iPhone. If you ask Siri to turn the volume to 100%, it's really annoying because every single time you get this question. Turn volume to 100%.
That's very loud. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, I changed it.
HomePod can also play anything that you can send over Apple's AirPlay protocol. So I used the YouTube app on my phone, and I also used the YouTube website on my Mac, and was able to AirPlay the audio from both of those to the HomePod. It also will work with apps like Spotify or just any other AirPlay audio source. Controlling music, if you want to control the music on the HomePod from your phone, it's kind of buried in Control Center, especially if you didn't start the playback from your phone. So you have to go into Control Center, and then it's sort of under the now playing and sort of a detail view. So it's hard to discover, but once you know where it is, it's really not hard to get back to. And then you can also view it in the music app and scrub to a certain place in a song, easily go to next track or whatever, control it from right inside there. So Siri, of course, is also a voice assistant. So Siri, of course, is a voice assistant. So it can control the lights with HomeKit. So any lights or other smart home products you've tied into HomeKit already, the HomePod can talk to just like any other iOS and Apple device. You can also set alarms or a single timer at a time. It can't currently do multiple timers. The alarms also, unfortunately, like on Sonos, you can use the alarms as just a way to schedule when music will play. But on HomePod, you can't play any music at a specific time. You can only just trigger an alarm, which just makes a nice little noise, and then some custom text that you can set.
This is custom alarm text. This is custom alarm text.
If you give Siri access to your phone information and setup, you can turn on or off private information, then any user who talks to the HomePod can get to your messages or other private stuff. So if it's in a place where you're just basically going to use it and people you trust, then I think that's great. And it's nice to have that so that you can then talk to Siri and ask it to add reminders to your reminders list or another to-do app, and same as add notes to the Notes app or a specific Notes app. Both of those are third-party apps that support those Siri integrations. In Things, add milk to my shopping list.
To confirm, you'd like to add this to your list called Shopping List.
Yes.
Okay, things added. Milk to the shopping list.
HomePod can also answer some basic trivia questions. Who is the fourth president of the United States?
The answer is James Madison from March 4th, 18...
So there's a few things I'd really love to see added in HomePod sometime soon. The first is scheduling music in coordination with scenes or other automation within HomeKit. So you could have, say, a good morning scene that then plays a specific playlist on HomePod. I'd love to just remove a little bit more of the snark from Siri. I think of the voice assistant, she tends to add extra just phrases that they're trying to make her sound more human, I guess, of like, you got it, or just little catchy things like that. And you know, maybe, yeah, there are a few times where you'd want Siri to give a funny answer, but in general, you just want the assistant to do exactly what it is. It's a robot, it's not a human. Don't try and humanize it, because we're nowhere close to getting to where any of these, you know, smart assistants are comparable to a human. So I think as well, along those lines, if Apple's not gonna let HomePod do all of the Siri functionality, then there should be some kind of a smart handoff with, if there's a phone or an iPad or another device that's on the same account hearing the Siri command, then there should be some kind of a smart handoff of, hey, the phone can handle this one, so we're gonna send it to the phone, or the HomePod can handle this one, so we'll send it there. And because right now, any of those hey Siri type commands are gonna go over to the HomePod if it's in the room.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Could you restate the question?
My point exactly. I'd also really love to see this become a speakerphone. When I make phone calls, I can see it as an audio source, but whenever I tried to add it, maybe this was just a bug, I couldn't get the phone call to actually work on it. And with the sound quality being so good and there's so many microphones on the device, I think it would be a fantastic speakerphone. So I've been using Sonos speakers since about 2010, and they are a much more mature platform, just because Sonos has been working on this problem for a lot longer. They already support multi-room audio, stereo pairing. They have integrations with Amazon's virtual assistant, and they're working on integrations with Google's virtual assistant as well. They also have support for way more music input. They have Apple Music, but they also support Spotify, and they also support a variety of other ones as well. And they also have a variety of different speaker sizes that even work as TV audio sources or other stuff to sort of fit different needs of speakers in different parts of your home. But if you compare it to the HomePod setup, in order to get what I would say is comparable quality of sound to the HomePod, you need to drop $500 on a Sonos Play 5. So that's not a cheap Sonos to get into. Say if you're just interested in audio quality for the money spent, that's where HomePod right now has an edge over Sonos. They've done a great job, Sonos has, with their various apps, and so no knocks against them there, but like it doesn't do this auto calibration that the HomePod does, where it's like is always listening to the music. You have to manually calibrate Sonos speakers, so there's that. And I have a bunch of Amazon Echoes that I've tied into my Sonos system with an integration. Those work fine, but they're not amazing. And it's good if you just want to play an Amazon Prime Music station on a specific Sonos, but if you want to do anything multi-room or anything with a specific music service, good luck. But I should say that whole integration with Amazon is in beta right now with Sonos, so you know they're working on it. So many people across the internet, as the HomePods come out, have really talked a lot about its limitations. What can it not do? But it's a first generation product, and of course it's going to have things it can't do, obvious opportunities for improvement, things that weren't able to get done by the ship date. But what HomePod does as far as just playing Apple Music and Apple Podcasts and a few very basic Siri commands, all of that it does very well. It sounds amazing, and I think if you're just looking at this as a voice command Apple speaker and you can afford the high price tag of $350, I totally recommend getting one. But if you're like me and you're already invested in the Sonos systems, I don't know if it's really worth switching or spending the money on a HomePod at this point. I think Apple has a lot more to the product in terms of features and capability to add before it would really be a compelling option to switch from Sonos. Thanks so much for watching this review of Apple's HomePod. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I'd love to hear in the comments down below if you've also bought a HomePod or are thinking about it and have questions. Start that down in the comments below. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one.